As mine, leave it alone. That's not fair.
Foul!
Can't do that.
Ow! That hurt!
Keep it out of there.
Hi everyone, so today's assembly is going to be all about following the rules because we've got lots of new rules and we've got lots of things in place to keep you safe. Now, we've had all these wee clips at the start of some of the children saying all sorts of random things like, foul! That's not fair! And I'm going to come on and explain in just a wee minute what that's all about. But we've got so many rules at the moment about keeping people safe. We've also got the school rules, which I'm going to revisit because I think in the 5 months since you were last here, some people have actually forgotten about them. We're also going to have our new virtual stars of the week because we're all stars in this school. Also going to be some photos of some of the work that's been happening in and around the school. So it's going to be a wee fun-packed assembly for you. So stick with me and we'll see what's going to happen next. Today's assembly is all about rules. Now, at the very start there, you heard Billy saying, foul! You heard Paul saying, that's mine! You heard some other children saying different things. Now, that's all because they feel that the rules have been broken. After this, I want you to have a wee chat with your teacher about the situations where people would use those lines. So, things like, that's not fair, and things like foul, and things like stop doing that. So have a chat about different situations where these phrases would be used. But they're used in day-to-day life. And you might think it's about people nagging, but it's not. It's about every single one of you being safe and keeping each other safe. Because if we didn't have rules in place, could you imagine what our playground would be like? There'd be people running riot, there'd be people thumping folk, there'd be tyres getting flung about the place, there would be everyone going everywhere in the playground. It would just be what we call a stramash. Yeah, a big stramash. Good word, good Scots word, stramash. So to stop there being a stramash, rules are put in place. So imagine you're out in the car and folk were just driving anywhere. They weren't following the rules of the road. Imagine if you just stepped out from the pavement. You didn't stop and look where you were going. Smack, you'd be hit by a car. Imagine if you'd gone to the doctor and you were given some medicine to take and you didn't follow the rules on the bottle or on the packet. You could actually make yourself really, really sick. So it's important that we follow the rules because the rules keep us safe. Now, believe it or not, the very, 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 very first rule book is actually the Bible. Because in the Bible there's a thing called the 10 Commandments, and Moses was given the 10 Commandments on the mountain. So those 10 Commandments were the original rules for life. And it's things like you don't murder people and you don't treat people the way you wouldn't want to be treated. It's actually quite simple, but I'm not going to go into that in any great depth. So imagine if you were watching Liverpool play football and there was no rules. You wouldn't know who'd won. You wouldn't know who'd lost. You wouldn't know who'd been fouled. It would end up looking a bit more like a rugby match, but without the rugby match rules. So really, it's important. Imagine as well if you were out in the playground and we didn't have the rule about treating people with kindness and respect. You could just be standing there and mind your own business and someone come up and give you a good hard smack in the face. Would you like that? No, I do not think you would. I certainly wouldn't. And if imagine as well, you are walking through a doorway and instead of someone holding the door open for you, they turn around and they slam it in your face. We don't like that either. So there are lots and lots and lots of rules. But if you follow the rules, then you'll be safe. Now in our school we have 3 main rules that make up the downfield promise. Now, some people haven't really been very good at following some of those rules and following the promise. Now, the first rule is about being ready. So making sure that you are here on time. So we've got a blue group that is here at 9 o'clock. We've got a purple group, sorry, that's here at 9:15, ready to start the day. Now, if you're late, then, oh, here she comes. Hi, Mrs. Emmett, I'm just recording my assembly.
Hello.
I'm just talking to them about the rules.
All right.
And how important it is to follow the rules. And imagine a football game with no rules. It'd end up looking like a rugby match, but a rugby match has rules.
Everything has rules.
Everything has rules, and that's what I'm saying. And I was just about to talk about our school rules.
And here's me walking in with fruit.
Which is a good rule. 5 a day.
I'm going to go and leave you to it then. You can finish off your rules. But do you know what? It's just, we don't just make up rules because we like rules.
It's about keeping people safe.
It totally is. And I think all the adults would be upset if someone in our school wasn't safe.
Well, one of the examples I said, imagine if we didn't have the treating people with kindness and respect, and you were standing in the playground and minding your own business, and someone came up and just gave you a big punch in the head. You wouldn't like that.
Totally. Every single rule we have in our school is about making sure that everybody has a great experience when they're here.
Absolutely.
Ready, respectful, and safe.
There we go. I'll be there in a minute. So, that's what I was saying. It's about being ready. So, that's rule number 1, being ready. And that means that if you're in the 9 o'clock group, you're there ready to start at 9 o'clock. If you're in the 9:15 group, you're there ready to go in at 9:15. It's about following the rules of sanitising. I've got some photos to show adults at home where our sanitising stations are. It's about listening to the adults and following and being ready to do what you're being asked to do. We've also got treat people with kindness and respect. Now, that is not difficult. We have been talking about that for 4.5 years. Kind words, kind actions, kind thoughts. That's what it's all about. And if you're doing those things, then you will be treating people with kindness and respect. And then being safe. That is the number 1. Now, later on in today's assembly, there's going to be a couple of wee bits where I've spoken about things where folk maybe aren't being as safe as they could be, like picking berries and maybe eating them, toy fighting in the playground, mixing with classes that they shouldn't be mixing with. Because remember, you need to stay with your own children. So being safe is about following the rules. We're not putting them in place just to be boring and old and spoil your fun. And I know that some people like to break the rules, but if you break the rules, then Mrs. Emmett and I have to help you to understand why you've broken that rule and how you can avoid breaking it again. So that's when we have the conversations about the choices that you've made and what is going to look different the next time. So, follow the rules.
Right, 3.
No, we need to do the cake.
3, 2, 1, pull up. Whoa!
Couple of things I need to speak to you about this week. One of them is actually about the berries. Now, all our bushes at the moment are covered in berries, and I know they look really nice, and I know that you want to pick them, and I know that you want to throw them about and squash them and all the rest of it. Now, the thing is, I actually don't know what these berries are. So wherever you are, whether it's in school or in the woods or out for a walk, and you see berries, if you don't know what they are, don't ever pick them, because you don't know if they're going to be good for you or not. So I'm going to ask you very nicely not to be messing about with the berries. Because I've had a few people that have been throwing the berries, they've been throwing the berries at each other. Now these berries, they're not dangerous to us. However, if we pick all the berries, then it's going to affect the bush as well. So please leave all the berries alone. Thank you. I also need to remind you about toy fighting. Now, there's been a few situations this week that I've had to sort out toy fighting. Now, I get that you're a wee bit frustrated because there's things that you can't do in the playground that you would normally do. But there's so many other games you could be playing. You could be playing Tig. You could be playing hide and seek. You could be playing lots and lots of different games. But one of the games you must not play is toy fighting. Simply because what starts off as a bit of fun ends up with children getting hurt. And I don't want anyone getting hurt in our school. So please, no toy fighting. Also, I need to remind you, and I reminded you of this last week as well, that you have to stay with the children in your own class. You can't go wandering about the playground, because if you go wandering about the playground and you're speaking to children in other classes, that means that if anyone has got the virus or anything else, they might pass it on. So you've got to stay with your little groups of friends in your class. Also, some of the support staff have spoken to me this week saying that they're actually not very happy with the way that some children are speaking to them when they're getting asked to move to different parts of the playground. So remember, one of our rules is treating people with kindness and respect. So please, make sure that you are speaking to the ladies in the playground as well as you would speak to myself or to Mrs. Emmett or your own class teacher. It's nice to be nice. This is our brand new section of our online assemblies, and it's the Stars of the Week. Now, we've always done Stars of the Week. However, we can't give out certificates, so the children are getting a big shout out at the assembly. So here we go with our first Stars of the Week. The first ever virtual Star of the Week goes to Miles Parkin in Primary 2 for helping to get Mr. J and Mr. Solomon ready for bikeability. Well done, Miles. A couple of other people who have helped Mr. J and Mr. Solomon get ready for bikeability, and that's Brodie Blacklaw and Fraser Dyer, who are both in Primary 7. Well done, boys. Someone else who has helped Mr. J and Mr. Solomon with bikeability, and that's Gosha Lazala in Primary 6. Well done, Gosha. Moving on from Mr. J and Mr. Solomon with bikeability, we have Lily Dyer in P1C, and she's the Star of the Week for always being a great listener and having a fantastic first full week in P1. Well done, Lily. We have another Star of the Week in Primary 1, and this time it is Darcy Tosh for always having good manners and showing positivity. A great start to Primary 1. Darcy, that is absolutely amazing. I'm super proud of you. Well done. This next one goes to Luca Lafferty in Primary 2W for always having a positive attitude during his first full week at Primary 2. Primary 2, Luca, how did that happen? It seems no time since you came running into Primary 1. Well done, Luca. This time we're right up at the top of the school, and it goes to Jack Christie in P7C for having an enthusiastic attitude towards all work. Jack, I don't expect anything less. Well done, Jack. Really proud of you. We'll have another Primary 7, and this time it's Logan Carroll in Primary 7DS for fantastic contributions to class discussions during art lessons. I actually had a conversation with Logan today, and what a brilliant conversation I had with him. So sensible and mature. Well done, Logan. Really proud of you. Here we have another one from Primary 7DS, and it's to one of our new pupils, Sam Allison, for a fantastic first week at your new school. Welcome. And that is a big welcome to every single one of us, to you, Sam, and also to your sister, Megan. Well done. Delighted to hear you've had such a good week. Now, I'm absolutely delighted with this one because she's been a wee bit upset coming in the mornings, but Primary 4D star of the week is Summer McNee for having a fantastic attitude all her learning. Summer, I am super delighted. Well done. This next one is from Mr. Solomon, and it goes to Callan McLachlan in Primary 6 now. Callan, how did that happen? For good effort with your reading. So well done, Callan. Absolutely delighted to hear that. Stay with Primary 6, and this time it goes to Emily Watt in Primary 6N for having a positive start to her new year. Well done, Emily. I knew you could do it. This next one is from Mr. Solomon as well. Gee, Mr. Solomon and Mr. J have been busy this week. It goes to Carson Kelly in Primary 5H for having a positive attitude in ICT. I actually popped in when they were doing ICT, and I quite agree. Well done, Carson. Really proud of you. This next one goes to Shan Young, who's in Primary 6M, for having a fantastic first week, and welcome to our class. Not just welcome to our class, welcome to our school, Shan. Delighted to hear that you've had such a good week. And sticking with the same family, we have Izzy Young in Primary 3C for working hard to settle in so well at Downfield. So well done to you, Izzy. I think the Young household will be super proud this week. Well done to you. And we're sticking with Primary 3. This time it is Libby Hunter in E3SP for working hard and always following instructions. I laughed today when I saw her trying to follow the big footprints, and she actually managed to jump between them. So well done, Libby. Really pleased. Now this one is really, really good to see. It goes to Lewis Wilkinson in Primary 5B for working hard and always following instructions. I am so delighted to hear that, Lewis. Well done. I can tell you've had a great week because you've always got a big grin on your face when you leave at night. Well done. And last but by no means least, we have Arthur Murnix in Primary 5H, always being ready to learn and putting in 100% effort. Arthur, I am super delighted to hear that. Well done, and I bet you're glad to be back at school. So well done to all our stars this week. Absolutely delighted, and as always, it makes Miss Bally's heart happy to hear such great news about everyone. Well done, everyone. You're all stars.
That's all, folks.